Hey everybody, just want to show you here what has been going on today as far as why has this been a bust so far in regards to the caliber of severe weather outbreak that was expected and what actually has happened. And we'll start with the surface map here, zoom in a little bit for you. And you can see here that we have winds here coming out of the west and northwest. Here they're coming out of the south and southeast. We have our pressure trough there. Here's our cold front right about in there like that. Now the radar is overlaid on here, and what the problem is that we're seeing is that a lot of the moisture that's associated with this is actually behind the front, and that is not what you want to see when you want to see a severe weather outbreak. You want the moisture to be out here in the warm sector where it's tapping in to the juicy air, the high dew point air that we were talking about yesterday. Here's our dew points, our current dew points. And you can see most of those high dew point airs are out ahead of where the precipitation is forming. And that's where our low level jet is out ahead of it as well. So we're getting a lot of undercutting with this system, and that's why things have not produced as was expected. I mean, there have been some damaging wind reports, there have been a couple of tornado reports, but when you have a moderate risk and you have a PDS, particularly dangerous situation, box issued, those are calling for widespread multiple tornadoes, many wind reports, many hail reports, and we have not seen anything even remotely close to that. And that's because of the fact that the precipitation is undercutting the front instead of forming out in the warm sector. And now looking ahead, why I'm not all that impressed with eastern Pennsylvania, New York State, places like that for tomorrow is, well, first of all, there's no reason for this to change character. I expect to see this moisture continue to undercut the front. And we're also starting out with a very stable situation across the northeastern part of the United States as a marine layer has come in. And you can see here, here's a lot of low cloud and fog, and the reports of drizzle in the Poconos, and I'm sure other places as well. That's very stable up in there. And there's no reason to think that anything is going to change. And I think that as this system continues to produce showers and thunderstorms tonight, we're going to see a cloud deck from this system start to expand eastward. These clouds are going to start to expand outward, and we're going to have these marine layer clouds here, and I think it's just going to set up a stable situation. I'll take you through some of the buff kit skew tees here, and I'll show you where some other problems are. We'll start here with State College, Pennsylvania, and this is at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, and all this gray here is cloud. And you can see that the cloud gets pretty low, and we also have some inversions to deal with. Here's a mid-level inversion here. You can see here it's saturated, very stable. Not much lift in the area at that time. Now we'll go forward here, and you can see the inversion does go away, but look, I mean, this is a very stable sounding here. There's nothing there that would indicate anything of any note happening. And we'll go through. And now here is our point of highest CAPE value. This is our most unstable time. And you can see 315 CAPE, most unstable. Now we do lift index -3, Showalter -2, sweat index 344. Those numbers aren't terrible, but with the stability and with the clouds having been in all day, with the inversions, I just don't see severe weather getting in. We'll take a look here. We'll go back to 8 a.m. and we'll look at Avoca, and this is even worse. Here we have the clouds all the way down to the surface. There's probably fog and drizzle happening there, and it continues all day. And you can just see CAPE values 506. That's marginal, but the sounding itself is nothing of any note. And you can see the winds are pretty much due south. They start to turn a little bit up here, but nothing of any real consequence coming in. So I think, despite these numbers here being decent for severe weather values, we're not, it's just too stable. There's just too much cloud cover, too much stability at the surface to overcome that. We'll look at one more site for you here. We'll go back to 8 a.m. and look at Philadelphia. And here we see a lot of low cloud and fog once again. This is probably drizzle happening in here. And, we go forward in time, and we can see there are still some inversions to deal with throughout the day. Its Cape values are going to get up to about 295. What's that? So, now there's a lot of moisture involved here. A lot of moisture, and so we could have heavy rain. Wouldn't be surprised if there's some gusty winds, but at this point, I'm very skeptical of the idea of severe weather pretty much anywhere in Pennsylvania. Northern Virginia, maybe as you get into Virginia, if you can get out of that marine layer and get some sunshine in there, you might see something. The Carolinas, you might see something. But I think once you get north of Virginia, places like Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York, you're probably not going to be looking at anything of any real consequence. So that's what I wanted to show you. We'll see how that works out. Hope everybody has a good night.